varieties of beans, 50-pound sacks of sugar, 40 and 50-pound sacks of yellow cornmeal. Salt is in 20-pound sacks, and everything else that you need to make bread or biscuits, tortillas, flatbread. They have also in bulk. So I would suggest to try to go by there. Also, another one of the places is your neighborhood stores, maybe even your outlined country stores, as we call them here locally. You'd be surprised what you can still get there. Another one of the places that I like going to is the neighborhood meat market. Neighborhood meat markets, I have found 2 of them within about 4 miles of my house, where I was able to still pick up pretty much all types of meat was still available there. And I was able to bring it home, package it up, seal it, and put it into our deep freezer. Let's see, another thing that you can do is, I see things starting to slow down now, is you can call a store and find out when they're going to have their deliveries, or actually speak to someone in person. And maybe you can go in a little early. You can go in the evening, kind of late. That's kind of what I like to do. It's going to be a little more difficult, especially now with more people being at home, for you to be able to get in there when it's pretty empty. So be prepared for that, but you're still able to get the items that you would like in bulk. Let's see. Oh, something else that I've been doing that I don't know if a lot of people are doing, but I have 1 gallon jugs of water, like Crystal Glacier, and several other bottled waters in the gallon. And I utilize those right now. And with that, I am able to save my supply of my bottled water if the case should be where I'm going to need it. And what I'm doing, even like my milk jugs, my orange juice, my 1 gallon of orange juice, I clean them out really well. I leave them open for a day or 2, so that way when I do add water, it doesn't have like the orange juice taste to it. And what I do is, because it's convenient right now, I boil my water. Now, our drinking water in our area it's okay, it's pretty good, but I just don't like that chlorine taste. So I boil my water, let it completely cool down. Like I've said, slow down. We have a little bit more time to do things, fortunately. And so in the evening, I'll go back and I'll refill my jugs. That way I am not tapping into my emergency supply of water, And I would suggest everyone does that, not necessarily rationing, but really one of the things, if you are going to get yourself emergency supplies, please let them be that, emergency supplies. Don't mix them in with your regular pantry or refrigerator groceries, and you're just going through it. Because I know a lot of people, we're not used to being at home every day, all day. So we're going right through all of our snacks first of all. And we want to keep those separate if you are able to. But that's one thing as a tip that I suggest for everyone to do. Keep your emergency supplies separate. I bought a couple of containers, storage containers, and I put supplies in different containers. For example, toothpaste, alcohol, peroxide, mouthwash, all of my like NyQuil and ibuprofen and things of that nature for headaches. Just all of our medical supplies. Have all of them, in one container. My batteries and so forth, candles. And please don't store your candles where it's going to be warm, because they will melt. Another container I have for the bulk items that I bought, like peanut butter, jelly, coffee, let's see, pastas, things of that nature. So that way, fortunately, I do have areas to store it in that is away from our normal day-to-day traffic. And so I want to also be able to access things quickly if necessary. So that is one thing that I've been doing quite a bit of. Another thing that I would suggest to people is I made an attempt to buy powdered eggs, and I purchased them from a company. I was all stoked that I got powdered eggs and powdered milk, and 7 days, 9 days, 10, 12 days went by. So finally I called them and I was like, hey, what's going on with my order here? It just shows still being processed. And the gentleman was kind of lost for words, very friendly, but he did admit they weren't in stock. And I politely told him, I said, you guys should not be selling items on your website that are not in stock. I don't want to put any company on blast, but if you are going to be purchasing items online, make that phone call if you can. Find out if that item that you want and will be expecting within the amount of days that they allocated for delivery will be met. And if not, move on to another company. But one thing that I did find out is about freezing eggs. You learn something every day. So what I did is I took, depending on how many eggs you want. For example, my wife, she bakes. So I know most of the recipes call for 2 eggs. So what I did is I got 2 eggs, I broke them up into a little saucer and took a fork and I just gently broke up the yolk into the white. You don't really want to stir it up. I'm being told that if it creates air bubbles, they get that freezer burnt effect. So you really just want to break them up. I put them into a sandwich bag, took out the excess air, laid them flat, put them in the freezer till they froze flat, and you'd be surprised how many of those you can stack. So, we are very blessed. We have an egg farm, not far. Well, yeah, it is kind of far. It's about a 25-minute drive, but I have access to it. But I guess now that they had a news, what am I trying to say? They had newscasters go out there, and I guess now everybody knows about the egg farm, and so that's kind of unfortunate because now they're really limiting supplies, and as yesterday they didn't even have any eggs available for the public. But at this point I will go into the grocery store and purchase quite a few eggs, and then I'll just sit there and place them in storage bags and put them in the deep freezer, because most of our recipes, if you do start cooking from scratch, they require eggs. So that's one thing that I would suggest for you guys to do. But please do not be afraid of buying these items in bulk. I kind of smirked because I went to the Smart and Final and I saw people getting all of like the ready-made hot cake mix, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Pretty much all the box items ready to be made, and everything that is in bulk that those items are made of they were just sitting there. Nobody was getting them because we have lost touch with cooking from scratch. Well, this is a great opportunity to start if you've never done it. I find a lot of recipes online, or I watch a lot of YouTube tutorials about cooking different things, and I make it, and hey, it's great. It's not rocket science for baking and cooking. It takes practice to get it just right. But in these times that we're going through right now, hey, don't worry about going to the store, and if they don't have your muffin mix or biscuit mix or pancake just add water mix, learn to do it from scratch. Get these supplies. It'll last you a long time, because we're not sure how long we're going to be going through this. So my thing is just, prepare for the long haul. This blows over, you have a lot of items left, share them with your family. Hey, here's 10 pounds of flour, 10 pounds of sugar. So it will not go to waste. Let's see. Oh, another thing that I learned about flour and I guess rice is that they are allowed a certain amount of, I guess, weevils, is that what they're called? Or even feces from certain insects. And so one thing that I learned about killing them is once that you break down, let's say your 50-pound bag or 20-pound bag, and you however you're going to store it, Mylar bags or Ziplocs, freeze them. I believe it was like 48 hours, and supposedly that's going to kill everything in there, and then you'll be better prepared to store it long term. Let's see. I think that's about it for now, but definitely, you know, if you can buy in bulk, buy in bulk. If you can go to the neighborhood grocery stores, and even a neighbor, like for us, we have we have 3 neighboring towns that are just literally just one street to the next. You went from one town to the next. And sometimes you're able to even go through stores in those areas. But there are still supplies. Yesterday, a family member of mine went to a local Walmart, and she said that she was able to pick up toilet paper. They did have some water. One of the things that I frowned upon, I'm putting them on black, Walmart. They were taking packs of water, breaking them down and selling them individually. So they had 10 packs and 12 packs of water that normally were like $5 or $6. Now they're selling them for $1 each. So they're making $10 to $12 off of that. I really frowned on that. And it's too bad that that was actually okay. Literally within walking distance from where I live, there was actually a liquor store that was fined $10,000 for charging, I think it was like $18 for a 24 pack of bottled water. And man, I'm glad that they did that. You know, these places should not be preying upon people right now during this crisis. And I'm glad that there is someone out there still policing that and looking out for the interest of the community. I hope that everyone is doing well. I hope that this video helps somebody. And once again, this is how Rich does it. Please share it. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing quite a few videos moving forward, and just different things that I'm doing. And hopefully it can help somebody out there. So be blessed. Be kind to one another. Goodbye.